Welcome to the Summer Wellness Series, where we talk all things wellness, feeling good, and how to be your best self this summer.
This series is sponsored by the gorgeous Ringwood Hall Hotel and Spa and their Summer Delight Spa Day package. It includes 4 hours spa access, a summer cocktail on arrival, and a 50-minute treatment. Head to their website, ringwoodhallhotel.com, for all the details.
We've got 5 amazing episodes for you, and on each episode, we've got a different guest. We've got a fitness expert, a therapist, a confidence coach, a nutritionist, and a cold water expert.
You are going to love these, so sit back, relax, and get ready to be your best self. So we have got another guest on this episode, which we are very, very excited about. And we've actually met this person before, which we'll go into in a little bit. Welcome to the pod, Gemma from Cold Plunge Chesterfield.
Hello. Nice to be here.
Welcome.
It's what you've just said, walking in, I didn't think, because last time we saw you, we were walking into like your kind of comfort zone, and we were terrified. Yeah. And now the tables have turned on you, Gemma.
Yes, I can probably empathise with how you were feeling. I feel kind of similar today, a little bit out of my comfort zone.
There is no cold water involved in today's episode.
No.
Sadly for me.
Sadly for you.
Yeah, no getting your swimming costume on. You stay clothed.
So first of all, Gemma, just explain how we know you and what it is you do.
So I've set up the company Cold Plunge Chesterfield. We're based in Chesterfield Town Centre, and it involves basically the opportunity to experience deliberate cold water exposure, so ice bath therapy. And there's lots of different reasons that you might want to come and experience that. But yeah, so I have kind of set that up, a unique, hopefully, experience for people to come and practice cold water therapy.
It's really big, isn't it, at the moment, though? Like, a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are getting these cold baths in their gardens, aren't they? And you hear people, or, you know, taking cold showers, that kind of thing. And Wim Hof, he was doing it. So it's really big, isn't it, now?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been into it for about kind of 4 years now. Kind of saw it on the internet, did some research around it, started with a bit of cold water swimming outdoors, and then got one of those tubs in the garden, and found that I was just craving colder water in the summer, and then kind of looked into kind of these specially filtered and cooled tubs. So.
Okay, so let's start with a bit about you, because it's interesting to know how people end up where they are. So you said you kind of got into it 4 years ago. So what did you do before that? And you're still a teacher now, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm a secondary school teacher. I teach psychology, and I love that job. Love working in the school that I'm at. It's a brilliant job, brilliant staff, brilliant students. But I work there 3 days a week, and I've been doing it a while, and I just kind of was looking to do and expand and do other things. Just open to kind of some more challenges and a different avenue rather than just being in a classroom, even though I love it. Just so something different, really.
So how did Cold Plunge come about then?
So I've loved cold water kind of therapy, and kind of always, like, you know, when you have those daydreams, I'd love to kind of set this up and share it with people. And then kind of the opportunity presented itself and the timing. So just kind of bit the bullet and went for it. Yes. So set up the clinic.
Do you remember your first cold plunge? You said, was it you started in Cold Rivers?
Yeah. So Your Grave in the Peak District. It's just kind of like this little part of a river that you can get in. And yeah, it was fresh. But then how I felt afterwards, really enjoyed it, really enjoyed the benefits. And then started going to, there's an outdoor pool in Matlock Bath.
Yep.
And that is not heated. So started going there in lockdown quite a bit, because, you know, when a lot of things were closed. So got into it there as well.
When we came along to Cold Plunge in Chesterfield to see you for the first time, obviously we hadn't met you before, and Laura and I were very nervous before, because we thought that it would just be too cold for us and we'd panic, and we just thought we wouldn't stay in there at all. So as we were coming to see you, we actually looked at each other and we said, shall we just not go? Shall we just message her and be like, sorry, something's come up, one of the kids is ill or something? But we came in, and I have to say, you made us feel so comfortable. We both said that, didn't we?
We would not have done that without you there. Like, I don't know if I made the mistake of testing the water with my fingers, and I just thought, I can't get in. There's no way I can get in that, and I just wouldn't have. I literally would have, or I would have got in, lasted 10 seconds, and got straight back out. But you were so good in kind of relaxing us, and it's all about kind of the breathing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what are the benefits of cold water therapy?
So there's more and more research being done now, which is great. But the history of it kind of started with inflammation and pain relief. And then in kind of the 80s, there was more research being done on like the neurotransmitters and the benefits to your nervous system. So without sounding too cheesy, the reasons and the benefits that someone might get from an ice bath are as unique as the person themselves, really. So I have people come in who've maybe ran a marathon and they want to just concentrate on their legs and kind of recovery, or sometimes people who just out of curiosity or mental health, so it can help alleviate anxiety symptoms, depression symptoms. I've been getting a lot of clients who come to kind of manage menopause symptoms as well. So yeah, lots.
That's interesting, isn't it? And you hear a lot of people say that it's for their mind, a lot of it, isn't it? And to help with their mental health and how they feel. And actually, we felt great, didn't we, after we did it? It releases endorphins, doesn't it? All that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the most recent research says that your dopamine goes up 2.5 times the amount. So it's kind of a real rush, and that lasts for a couple of hours afterwards. But I think the main thing is that you'll know from going in there, you have to be so present and so mindful and kind of really concentrate on you, yourself, your breathing. And I don't think there's many practices. I think it's quite a cheats way. So, because I like yoga, I like other mindfulness things, but I think you really have to kind of focus, block things out. Whereas there, you're in the water, there's nothing else you can do apart from concentrate and kind of adapt to that environment. So
that's so true. Describe what happens, and you've told us this before we went in. So describe what happens before you go in and then when you actually get into the water.
So there'll be 3 kind of main responses that your body and your mind will have when you get into that cold water, and they're all completely natural. So the first thing when your body hits cold water is something called vasoconstriction. So all the blood in your exterior goes to your main organs, and that's designed, to keep you healthy. When your body senses cold, it's going to go and protect the most important things. So that's a completely natural response. That will kind of make your heart rate beat a little faster. Your blood pressure might go up a tiny bit. But to be honest, you probably won't notice that bit at all. The main things you'll notice are the effect it has on your brain, the way your brain responds. So your brain is designed to keep you alive, make you survive. It's not designed to make you happy. So when you experience cold water, your brain will naturally go, this is cold. This potentially isn't where your body should be. You need to get out. So it elicits almost a fear response, which would have been great when we were cavemen walking about, when we dropped in a bit of cold water. It'd be really good for us. So you've got to almost override that response of this is unpleasant. And as a society, we have a lot of connotations around cold. So negative connotations. So it's about knowing that, yes, this is uncomfortable. It's not usually what you're used to. So you have that kind of a bit of fear response and the mental battle. And that in itself releases adrenaline and kind of initiates your fight or flight response. So it will be a mental case of, this doesn't feel like, you will be fighting that mental of, I think I should get out. Like, this isn't pleasant. This isn't a warm, bubbling jacuzzi. That's kind of the second thing, that kind of fear response, the fact that your brain's going to respond to that environment. And then the third, most natural response to the cold water, which you probably notice the most, is called cold water shock response.
Yeah, we got that, didn't we?
Yeah,
Definitely.
We did.
So that is a completely natural way that your body will respond to the cold, and it involves you taking a big gasp in, and your diaphragm will naturally contract, and there's not much you can do about that when you're, especially if it's new, because a lot of people who've been coming, it's been their first time in kind of that level of temperature. So when you get in, you have a cold water shock response, which causes that air to go in, your diaphragm to contract. Now at that point, that's when kind of you have to coach with your breathing and kind of push your breath out, and then it might go in again, but then you push it out again. Now the thing with that response is we obviously associate that gasp, and bearing in mind you've got adrenaline being released, you might be a bit anxious anyway. So it's important that you you kind of know that that's not a panic response. So in society, we would associate that kind of deep breath in with either having a really big cry when you kind of get to that, or anxiety and feeling really anxious. So it's important kind of that I prepare clients for when they're getting in that is completely natural. So that, and then it's about knowing that you can control your breath, and within 30 seconds to a minute, your body will have adjusted. And a lot of people are kind of like, oh, and everything has calmed down. You breathe in and everything.
It's the weirdest thing, isn't it? Because I think when you get in, your body's just like, get out, this is too cold. But then after it is literally that minute, isn't it? So once you get over that minute, you're like, oh, actually, it's so weird. It's almost like your mind more than your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which just goes to prove how important your mindset is.
Yeah. And then with that, there's a lot of research that obviously once you've pushed yourself through that challenge and your body's responded to that stress, once you've kind of practiced that, it then kind of transfers over into you responding to real life stresses. So that you'd be like,
yeah.
And then your kind of body gets like almost practicing the way your body responds to stress.
The breathing was the thing that I noticed the most, actually. That's what made me probably panic for a split second, was like, oh, my breathing's really rapid. And it does associate with panic, doesn't it? But like you say, it died down so quickly.
Yeah. So it is about focusing for that kind of 30 seconds to a minute, and you do have to just concentrate on you. It's a really selfish minute that you are there, like challenging yourself and kind of, and like you say, once your body kind of in your brain is like, oh, I'm absolutely fine, then you kind of can just relax into it a little bit.
On another episode in this series, we had a confidence coach called Chloe, and she was talking about doing things that you're scared of, and then once you do them, it builds your confidence. And we actually used Cold Plunge as an example of something we were terrified about, and then once we'd done it, it does make you think, I can do that. Well, you kind of think, right, what else can I do? Because it was, I don't know why we were so scared. It actually,
well, you said, didn't you, as Laura was getting into the plunge pool, she stopped and looked at you and went, I'm really worried that I'm going to get a headache and a heart attack. You actually, I can tell you were genuinely nervous.
Yeah. I mean, the health disclaimer doesn't help those anxieties, I must admit. Even when I write it, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. Some of those things on that, I didn't know what it was. I was like, I don't know if I've got that or not.
We still signed it though, didn't we?
Yeah.
You're like, yep.
It's really interesting because I've had like cold showers before, and I don't like that.
You see, I don't.
No, I thought today when I had a shower, I thought, should I just quickly turn it to cold? I just couldn't do it. But I don't like the feeling of the shower. I'd much rather sit in something and breathe and relax.
Yeah. So it's different as well. When you get in the ice bath, there's something called hydrostatic pressure, which you feel almost like a bit of weight around your body. Whereas a cold shower, some people really love them, but I find them a bit...
Yes.
Like you can't get as mindful in there and focused.
Yeah. So you talked about a spot in your grave, was it? Like a little... So I reckon around, especially the Peak District where we are, there's some nice little spots where people go and do that.
I mean, I don't think you're meant to swim in Chatsworth, but I know there's some swimming groups that go there.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So my in-laws live in Cornwall, and in the winter when we were there last time, I did say to my mother-in-law, I was like, shall we go and find her? Because there's got to be loads in Cornwall. Yeah. Shall we go and find her? And she was like, oh, maybe. And then we went to a harbour and there was a woman doing it. And I just looked and I thought, oh, God, no way. There was a seal near her as well. I thought, oh, God, no. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to concentrate. There's a seal bobbing about. But like, I love the fact that you don't have to buy one of those... What are they called? Like tubs?
Those like plastic. There's lots of different brands.
Yeah, but the fact that you've got somewhere where you can just go, and I like it was an experience, wasn't it? Like the
Yes.
lighting and the music, which we differed on. But
that was good that actually you were kind of like, what would you like? What's your vibe? Would you like relaxing music? Would you like upbeat music? Would you like R&B? So I went for Drake and you went for relaxing.
I was fine. I was like, but isn't it funny how people might prefer a shower? They might prefer being in the wild doing it, or somewhere like a bit more controlled, like Cold Plunge. And I'm definitely a Cold Plunge.
I mean, the ice bath for me, I would love to be out in the Peak District every day, but it just doesn't work for lifestyle and convenience. So with Cold Plunge Chesterfield, you can just pop along, 20-minute appointment, come in, experience the cold, and off you go.
And you get a nice robe afterwards.
In fact, we had a hood and everything. It was delightful.
Lovely. Yeah.
Are you getting a lot of people interested in this at the moment?
Yeah, so to be honest, I've not pushed the advertising side of it yet. I'm just kind of enjoying the steady flow. I mean, like tomorrow night, I've got a private booking of kind of a small group. They're in the 50s and 60s. They all go to the gym together and they just want to try something different.
Yes.
And then they're going to go out for a meal after.
Yes, I love that.
Me too.
So that, I mean, I have people coming on their own. A lot of people come with a friend. So it's kind of more of an experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like that private booking tomorrow, it'll be something different for a group to do, really.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how wellness is such a big thing at the moment, and this is perfect. So if there is a group of you and you're thinking, what should we do? Doing something like that is really good because you can encourage each other. It's quite fun as well, isn't it? You can have a little bit of a laugh while you do it. And I do think once they've all done it, they'll all come back. Because do you know what I mean? Because you can't, once you've done it, you've achieved something and you feel really good as well. Like it's not just for 5 minutes afterwards. It's like for a good few hours, you can feel the tingle, can't you?
And it's like with anything, it's a practice.
Yes.
So your first one is almost, especially if you're nervous, it's quite overwhelming and it can kind of like be quite an intense experience. Obviously, I go quite regularly and it just becomes more and more relaxing every time I go. And another thing that if it is your first time, because of the way your body responds, you feel great for a few hours, but then sometimes you can feel quite tired.
Yes. I had this, I slept like a baby
so it's
that night.
I
said to you, didn't I? I was like, I slept so well.
There's a lot of people that say it really helps with sleep. And so, yes, that can happen. Because
tell you
it's
what
like you build up of adrenaline and then that
Yeah. I felt like, when you were a kid and you had the summer holidays and you played out all day and then you went back when you were really tired and you had that feeling of like, when you fell into bed. That's how I felt later on in the day.
Yeah.
Well, you've really worked your nervous system and kind of your adrenaline response, and you've had to really focus and control, and you can't mask anything when you're in there for that minute. You really have to concentrate and just be present and then adapt to the cold.
And any age, is it good for any age?
Absolutely, yeah, any age.
Yeah.
So obviously for legal reasons, it's 18 and above.
Yeah.
But any age and any reason. Personally, for me, the reason that I find it extra beneficial is I'm 39 this year, but when I was 33, I had my ovaries removed. So that kind of threw me into surgical menopause. Now I've kind of managing it and through it, I kind of feel a bit lucky because I didn't go through all the undulating perimenopause side of it. But yeah, so kind of getting to age, any symptoms. I've had people who've run a marathon and are super fit, and people who just want to come just so to alleviate brain fog and get a better night's sleep.
So it's good for
any age.
It's good for
anybody.
any age.
Any experience as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we were newbies, weren't we? And we gave it a go.
Yeah.
If people are listening to this and think, right, I want to give it a go, where can people find you?
So Instagram, Cold Plunge Chesterfield. Facebook, Cold Plunge Chesterfield. And then got a website, www.coldplungechesterfield.co.uk.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend like trying it out with friends, just because it's
fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fun, and then maybe go back and kind of do it on your own, because I think doing it on your own is quite powerful, isn't it? You're like sat there, with your own mind, and you do support people on their first appointment.
Yeah. So, for instance, I've got some people who've bought the bundle of kind of 5 for a reduced rate, and I always facilitate that first one.
Yeah.
just so that they get the most out of it, and from a safety point of view. Like the cold water has so many benefits, but you do have to respect it and kind of aware that, you know, if you spend too long in cold water, you're at risk of hypothermia.
Yeah.
So it's really important that people know how long they should be staying in for.
Yeah.
So regular dips.
Regular
regular
dips.
dip.
I love
Yeah,
that.
why
Yeah.
not? Like
Let's
a
go for a dip.
Yeah. And the breathing side of it, it also teaches you how important breathing is. We were talking to someone the other day, weren't we, about breath work.
Oh, yeah.
And how important that's becoming as well now. And that must go hand in hand with cold water therapy.
Yeah, so I did a Wim Hof fundamentals course.
Wow.
So
Did you get to meet Wim Hof?
Didn't,
Mr.
unfortunately.
Hof
It was a
wasn't there.
really good course, though, with someone called Mr. and Mrs. Ice Bath based in Sheffield.
Yeah, so good.
But yeah, so that breathwork side of it is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not qualified in
Yeah.
any way to
Yeah.
teach. I think you have to go up a mountain for
Do
a
you?
weekend in your shorts. And
Do you? Wow.
if you want to be a Wim Hof instructor. But yeah, the breathwork side of it is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
People rave about it. The two that we met, actually, two women who were like really into yoga and breath work,
Yes.
they could not talk enough about the benefits and how it's changed their life and how incredible it is.
So
Yeah.
I'll practice Wim Hof myself, but yeah.
Wow. It's funny, isn't it? Because whenever you're panicking or something's happening, the first thing you say to someone is just breathe, isn't
yeah.
it? And if you just concentrate on just breathing in and out, that's whenever anyone is like heartbroken. I remember my daughter being like heartbroken and she was really upset, and I was like, all you need to concentrate on right in this moment is breathing in and out. That's all you need to do. Then once you've kind of done that, it's when you're in that cold water, all you need to think about is breathing in and out.
Yeah.
And then your body just gets used to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it forces you
Yes.
to take those deep breaths.
Yeah.
So before I kind of started looking into breath work, I realised that I kind of breathe up here in my chest quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then it's about really going deep into your belly.
Yeah. It's your diaphragm, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you meant to, is it breathe through the nose, out the mouth? Is that right? Is that the right way
Yes.
to do it?
So you're breathing in through your nose.
Yeah.
Just for the ice bath, this is
Yeah.
in through your nose and then a slow breath out through your mouth, just to make it really conscious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's
Love it.
fascinating, and
Yeah.
I would recommend heading to Cold Plunge at any point and trying it out, because you're the reason I did it. But you literally are, because there were like 30 seconds. I'll be so proud of myself, and you were like, "Oh no, you'll be in there for 3 minutes," and we were like, "What?" But yeah, we did it.
We both did it,
Yeah,
didn't
you
we?
did amazing.
Oh,
But I always think
thanks,
when people
Gemma.
are like 30 seconds, I'm like,
What's the point?
that's the hardest bit. Once you get through
Yeah.
that bit,
Yeah.
people are kind of like, oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, we really enjoyed it and we felt great afterwards.
Yeah, and we'd want to do it again,
Such a-
actually, because it looks nice. You know, when you put little pictures on Instagram of your running water, I'm like, I want to get back in there. So we'll have to
Yeah.
come back and try it out again. Yeah,
Come
for
back,
sure.
Try it early morning.
Yes.
There's lots of different times.
Yeah.
So- and
Yeah.
if there's never a slot on the booking system,
Yeah.
we're really flexible.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's good to know, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
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 Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you
in.
for having me.
Yeah, it's been lovely to chat to you. And just remind people, your website is Cold Plunge.
Chesterfield.co.uk. Yeah.
There we go. And we'll share you on
Lovely.
our socials as well. Gemma, thank you so
will.
much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it.
Remember, there are 4 other episodes, so go and check them out.